Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about my experience, give you guys my opinion, and some tips on how to choose between retwisting and interlocking. Don't mind my cat, I think he has friends outside. I've had tons of people ask me about those two methods because I did start with interlocking and then I stopped. And I always said I was going to do a video, so this video should answer all your questions. So for my experience, when I first decided that I was going to lock my hair, I knew nothing about locks. So I did a lot of research online and I was pretty set on just retwisting. Whenever I would look at people that said they interlocked their hair, I wasn't really into the way that it looked. So when I started my locks in September 2011, I did 2-strand twist, and then 3 weeks after I washed my hair and I retwisted. Obviously it didn't stay for a while. That's when I was like, oh, okay, so I get it. I get why people interlock. So I started interlocking, and my whole thing was I was going to interlock a lot at the beginning and then slowly get to interlocking like once every 6 months to like once a year. So that was my plan. So I interlocked frequently, I would say about once every 2 months. January 2013, I was about a year and a couple months locked. That's when I would say I was completely locked, because I got my hair retwisted, and the way my hair laid, it was like there was no frizz and it was just pretty much completely locked. So I was really happy, and that's when I started questioning why I was interlocking. I was scheduled to interlock in like February or March of 2013, and I did it at the end of February, and the whole time I was doing it I was like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to do this does not feel right. So I did my whole head, and once I was done, I was like, you know what, let me take a break and I'll interlock, like not in 2 months, but just a little later. And then right before I turned 2 years locked, that was around July or August 2013, Narissa Irving, the girl with the super long locks, she posted a video of her mom talking about like the Rastafarian culture, and she was talking about how they see logs and how they see maintenance and all that. If you want to watch it, you can click here. But after I watched this video, I was pretty set on never interlocking again. So that's when I took my decision that I was going to stop interlocking. And since then, I've only been retwisting. At one point, my regimen was like when it's cold, I retwist every 3 weeks, and then when it's warmer, I don't retwist as much. And I had to stop that regimen because my hair got longer, to the point that at one point I was staying under the dryer for 4 hours in the winter, and I wasn't into that. So now I just retwist less often. Like my last retwist was October 2015. I'm not sure when my next retwist is going to be. So sorry, I just got a notification. Now that my hair is almost 5 years locked, you can see where I stopped interlocking.
And if you look at it closely, you can tell, if you look closely, you can tell where I stopped interlocking. So I can easily bend it, and then if I try to do this with my hair, it's like when I do it with wherever it's interlocked, it's like there's a point right away that can form. Compared to here, if I try it, like it doesn't want to bend, you know?
And when you look at my bleached hair, you can see where I interlocked right away.
Here.
In my opinion, I don't think that one is better than the other. After I showed you like all the weak points and all of that, I don't think one is better than the other. The reason why I say that is because with both methods, you can ruin your hair. If you retwist too tightly, too often, you can get thinning. With interlocking, you can get breakage if you go like too rough, if you do it too tight. If you don't do it right, you can get holes in your locks. So they both have pretty big cons. For tips on how to choose which is better for your hair, I feel like it depends on the individual. I feel like it depends on how you view your roots, I guess you can say, and how you want your hair to look like in like 5-10 years. So what I mean by that is, for your roots, if you go to the beach or you work out and you sweat out your hair or you wash your hair, do you want your roots to stay intact as much as possible or not? Obviously, if you don't care, you're most likely to choose retwist. But if you really want your roots to stay intact, like you can go swim, and when you get out, like, you still see your scalp, and obviously interlocking will be your number one choice. And then you have to take into consideration how your hair is going to look in the future. With retwisting, most of the time it's pretty similar from root to tip, depending on how you parted your hair or your hair was parted. It's gonna look similar throughout. But the thing with interlocking is, sometimes the pattern, because it's knots. Interlocking is just knots that are put into your roots and then it grows out, and sometimes that pattern never goes away. I've seen people that have locks that are 10 years old and they interlock the whole time, and like the ends are still, you still see the interlocking pattern. I've seen that quite a lot, actually. That depends on your texture though. So I'm not saying that's what happens when you interlock. I'm just saying that that is a huge possibility, and that is a possibility that doesn't happen with retwisting. So that is definitely one thing to take into consideration. Let me give you guys an example. Daniel works out like 6 days a week, and when he works out, he goes in. Obviously, he would love it if if his roots would stay intact when he worked out, but he wants, like, 10 years down the line, he wants the length of his locks to look as meshed as possible. So he's gonna get retwist, but he's gonna take all the precautions necessary so that his retwist doesn't get undone. So he's gonna, like, when he gets his retwist done, he gets an updo, or he gets like fishtails and all that, and he wears a scarf when he works out, and then when he's done, like, he's gonna dry it with the scarf on and wait till it's dry to take it out. Like, he just does everything possible to keep the retwist intact. And then you have Valerie, who has 3 kids. She works, and she loves locks. She loves them so much, but she doesn't want to spend she doesn't have time to go to the salon all the time, or she doesn't have time to worry about her hair like every 3-4 weeks. So she would rather get it interlocked once every 2 months and not worry about it, and she could wash her hair frequently. And she doesn't care if 10 years later the pattern is still there. She'd rather take that chance than having to retwist her hair like all the time, you know? So it depends with every person. Hopefully that helps someone out. If you're still here watching this video, wow. Also, I don't think you should rely on like YouTube and Instagram and stuff, because not everyone has an HD camera, so you don't see their hair in detail. I believe in comparing with people in real life, and obviously there are some people that do not have access to people that are locked, but I feel like it's when you touch it that's when you see the difference, because interlock hair, it's like, you know, it's a bunch of knots down the length of your hair. So when it gets older, when you pick it up, it is a little heavier compared to retwisted locks. If ever you have any more questions, then let me know in the comment section and I'll make sure to answer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.